Hi, I'm Rob Durham, and this is part 3 of a 3-part series on how to get from being just an open micer who never gets any work to actually getting a paid week at your home club.
He tours clubs and colleges all over. He's just published his 3rd book. Give a nice big round of applause for Rob Durham.
In parts 1 and 2, I mentioned that you have to get the audience to like you, the other comedians to like you. So in this section, I'm going to talk about how to get the club to like you and some advice on the guest set once you finally get that. A typical guest set is going to give you about 5 to 7 minutes, maybe even 10 on stage. And if you're lucky, you'll get a Friday or Saturday show. A lot of clubs throw these on Thursday or Sunday. It depends how big the club is and what nights they're open. Now when you get there, let the manager know you're there and then get out of his or her way. Dress nicely, don't dress like a bum. Even if you have a certain style, at least look sharp during that. They don't want riffraff on stage. A couple tips on your guest set. You actually have an advantage because you don't have to take the stage first. You'll go after the MC. Make sure that you let the MC know that you're doing the guest set as well. And depending on how they do, you could have a much warmer crowd that you'll get a lot more response from. It's a lot tougher to be an MC, so having a buffer between the beginning of the show and you is a huge advantage. Make sure you're aware of how much time you've been on stage. Sometimes a club will actually give you a light. I use my phone and then set the timer in my pocket, and it vibrates in my pocket, and that way I know when I have 2 minutes left to get off stage. If they give you like 7 or 8 minutes and you're not filling that whole time, you're allowed to leave the stage early. You don't have to fill that whole 7-8 minutes. They probably aren't keeping track, and it's best to close strong than to go into a final joke that doesn't do well. Remember, your last joke leaves that final impression, so you always want to get off stage on a high note. As far as getting the club to like you, it's not about just the manager. At a lot of clubs, the manager stays off out of the showroom. They stay back in an office. A lot of times the servers have just as much pull. They're an excellent barometer of how well you do, and the managers trust their judgment. So, crowds that laugh more actually drink more. These these servers have seen just as many comics as anyone else. So, be respectful to them. Tip generously. If you get a drink from the bar, even if it's just a cup of water, tip. That can be almost as important as how you do on stage. Tip generously. If you weren't quite ready for the guest set, it's going to show, unfortunately. Even with the hot crowd, I've seen people do very poorly on guest sets. It's a shame, but try back in 6 months once you have a stronger 5 minutes. If you do well, don't barge into the manager's office and say, well, instead hang around after the show and hopefully they'll approach you about it. Otherwise, a good excuse to talk to them is to thank them for the time, thank the headliner and the other comedians, and hopefully they saw or heard that you did well. Sometimes right then you can actually get your paid MC week scheduled. So, congratulations then. You've finally, you've made it 90%, you've made it further than 90% of the comics at open mic by actually scoring a paid week of shows. So to recap, dress nicely, get there on time, do your time, tip generously, be respectful to the servers, be low maintenance as possible, stay out of the way, and then just wait to be talked to, and the right things will happen for you. If you get that first MC week, congratulations. I've written the biggest chapter in Don't Wear Shorts on Stage. I think it's around 60 pages on just how to MC shows. It's a lot more than being funny, so check that out. It's very helpful. And this is on Amazon. It's called Don't Wear Shorts on Stage, once again. And I appreciate your likes and comments. Be sure you subscribe. And if you have any ideas on other videos you'd like me to shoot, I'm listening. I'll see you next time.